Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being online with us today. My name is Adele Zhao, Marketing Manager for Trina Solar Europe. I will accompany you throughout the whole event today. It has been a very special year for you and me. The outbreak of the coronavirus 19 changed our way of life living and working. It limits our travel and meetings in person. However, the internet technologies leads us to the live event with our partners around the globe. A few tips for you during the event. Here you can see the agenda for today. On the digital platform, you're able to interact with all participants online in the chat section. Also, please leave your questions in a Q&A section. Our experts and guests online will answer you there. As you are experiencing now in this online event, technologies make the impossible possible. The same applies for the PV technology. This is why Trina Solar team never stops innovation, technology development, and product system integration. We continue to strive for lower LCOE of solar energy for all. The first generation of Trina Pro was launched 2 years ago. Vertex module equipped with 210 wafers launched 3 months ago. Today, we would like to present you ultra high power solar solution. Now, please welcome Mr. Ying Rongfang, Vice President of Trina Solar and President of Product System Integration Value Creation Group, to provide us a keynote speech.
Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, we are extremely happy that you are able to join us online today for our digital Trina Pro Mega 2020 Global Launch Conference. Welcome. The constant developments in PV technology over recent years have driven a continuous cost reduction in globally PV power generation system. Between 2011 to 2019, the cost reductions of the cost reduction in globally PV power generation systems already dropped more than 82%. And will continue to decline in the future. As a long-standing members of the PV industries, we are naturally helped that the cost of the PV power generation is expected to be lower than that of the traditional energy by 2050, according to the forecast data from the International Renewable Energy Agency. While ushering in the area of the great disparities in 2020, the PV industry has also entered the ultra higher power era with the module that exceeded power output of 500 watts. Trina Solar released a 500 watts plus Vertex modules in February this year. From the Vertex to the Trina Pro Mega solutions, which will be released today, Trina Solar always views its developments from the perspective of its clients and seeks to create more value in terms of technology, manufacturing, products, and solutions. I would like to share 3 points about why we have Trina Pro Mega to help deliver more value to our clients. Firstly, with the serious homogenizations of the products and the increasingly complex of the terrain and the environment, technology selections and applications in complicated environments has become key points to maintain the system availability. Based on this, Trina Pro Mega solution is able to achieve higher system availability by compatibilities of optimizations, pattern designs, multiple scenarios, customization, and authoritative third-party certification. Secondly, PP and PV parities era is leading the future direction of the PV project. Clients pursue the lower LCOE and the high IRR. In this case, Trina Pro Mega helps clients reduce capex investments by better component selection and lower BOS. It also devotes itself to the integration of the hardware, software, clean robots, unmanned virgin vehicle. Last but not least, under the age of the PV capitalization, PV projects has been derived as a kind of the financial products which gain focus on the capital market, especially for the utility scale PV projects. As a result, O&M and asset management are becoming hot topics which are directly related to the cash flow. Of course, Trina Pro Mega will help increase the efficiency and the quality of the O&M and improve the bankability of the PV plants from the perspective of the AR, O&M, and smart SCADA. Also by integrating function of the integration diagnosis, IV scan, performance analysis, remotely control, reduce the LCE of the PV system, and improving the profitability of the PV power station are the top priority for Trina's product development and the system plan innovation. High power modules and higher integration solutions, stable and reliable product quality, and the system operation guarantees, together with intelligent maintenance solutions, are the three most important elements that help to maximize the value we deliver. In the next few years, ultra high power modules and solutions will quickly become the popular and join the mainstream in the rapidly developing environment of the solar modules. Ultra higher power solar solutions also needed to follow up quickly so as to further add to the customer value, especially for projecting complex application scenarios. Trina Solar upholds a business philosophy of the stability and have a spirit to continuous innovation and the breakthrough in both product and client value. We are fortunate to be a part of this new PV industry wave in this new period. We will continue to work closely with our precious partners to progress, succeed together. Thank you once again for participating in today's launch webinar. With your support and attention, I believe Trina Solar Mega will be going to achieve great success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Yin. Now you must be wondering what Trina Pro Mega is, what features are included, and how it contributes to lower LCOE. So now let's welcome Mr. Joaquin Hernandez, head of Trina Pro Engineering Center, to provide us the Trina Pro Mega Solution introduction. Joaquin, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Adele, and thank you everyone for joining us today. As Adele mentioned, I'm gonna guide you through the main features today of Trina Pro Mega. So yeah, sit tight, and I hope you guys enjoy as much as we are. So here is a quick table of contents. First, I will give you industry background. Why are we here today? What is the reason why we want to present you this product today? Then we will show the main highlights of this ultra high power features and what it brings to the market. Then I will show the main highlights, the main parts, what is Trina Pro Mega, that you guys can understand better. And then, as Mr. Rompanjin mentioned, we will show the added values that we want to present to our customers. First of all, as a background, I mean, it's clear that the market, there is a very strong tendency of the LCOE to go lower and lower. We have seen in the last maybe 10 years how the cost decreased to around 10% of what was around 10 years ago. We have seen prices, bidding prices below 1 cent of a dollar in the EMEA region lately. So it's clear that the market and the business requires us players and suppliers to, let's say, think out of the box and to bring new solutions to the market. If we put together this fact with the clear increase in module power trend that we have seen also in the last maybe 12 to 15 years, where we almost double the capacity of the module, reaching from around maybe 300 to what we have today, around 500, also increasing the range of power that we present to the market. Bringing these two concepts together, only with the modules, we can see that we can achieve a strong reduction of BOS system and levelized cost of electricity. The more and the higher the power of the module, is clear we need less system, less BOS, so we can improve the system. But this is not the end of the story. This is actually the beginning, and this is where Trina takes one step further, and we want to present our Trina Mega solution. We like to think in our solution like a perfectly synchronized and flexible body that works all together with a smart brain and sturdy back, very strong limbs, which are the main components of the system, and flexible tendons, which integrate the whole system and make it work. I'm going to guide you through a little bit more in detail about this kind of metaphor that we like to present in a way that maybe you can understand better what is the idea behind of this Trina Pro Mega solution. Starting with those strong limbs, we can think like the arms and the legs. These are, of course, the main components of the system. Of course, as let's say the main dish, one of the deal break, I mean, not deal break, the game changer is our Vertex solution that we presented back in February. With this high power module, we already show in a real reference case study that we can decrease the BOS and the levelized cost of electricity around 6%. Together with the Vertex module is, of course, the tracker system. The tracking system is the structure, or let's say the bones of the body that will make the whole magic work. We have developed internally in our company a new system that can bring up to 120 modules per tracker, reduce the number of piles around 16%, reduce the use of land around 26%. So this put together will, of course, help beyond the Vertex module to decrease even further the BOS system and the levelized cost of electricity. Going a little bit more into details into the features of this new system. One of these main features, let's say, that we like very much because it makes it very easy, is the spherical bearing. This spherical bearing is a patent structure or feature that allows up to 30% adaptation of the slope and adjustability, and also can help to, let's say, absorb this small deviation that happened during construction. You guys know that during construction is not perfect, and sometimes we find small deviations due to the terrain, and this is really a headache to figure out and to solve later on. With this 3D flexible bearing, we can help you to absorb these small deviations. Another very important feature from our tracker is the new system of, let's say, moving this tracker, the new actuator. This new system has been also being developed internally, and it brings high stability due to its self-locking function, brings also high precision and accuracy thanks to its multiple point and transmission shortened distance between the action point. This makes the system much more stable and much more, let's say, the movement is much more aggressive, and we will avoid this, this uncomfortable movement. Will also increase the consistency and reliability of the system, because I mean, the way we move it is very simple, has been simplified to the maximum in a way that we have one, let's say, one motor, one engine that is moving the system, and a higher number of actuators that replicate this number. And all of this is connected by a cardan, kind of cardan system that will make the system very reliable and also will help to adapt the system to the terrain. So all in all, it makes a system that is very simple, very reliable, very easy to install, and very, let's say, it can adapt to the terrain. Then coming back to this body analogy, we like to think of the brain of the system, our smart tracking, and our controller system. We have developed also internally our own controller and our own tracking algorithm that it consists, let's say, in two parts, or it has two different features. The first features I want to present is our bifacial algorithm, and this is based on the fact that we want, when we're thinking on bifacial modules, part and together with tracking system, the main feature here, the main thing we have to think about is the whole, the complete irradiation that hits the module. It's not only on the frontal face, but also on the rear face. So we want to maximize the irradiance that is coming to the whole panel. And in this way, this is the, let's say, the philosophy behind, and we have developed a system and algorithm that will maximize this front plus rear panel in a way that we can improve and we can boost and enhance the production around or up to 2%. If we couple and we match this feature that I just mentioned with our second feature, which is the backtracking algorithm that takes into consideration and includes into the equation the third coordinate. So not only, let's say, the flat terrain, but will also include the difference in the terrain, including this, let's say, set coordinate into the system, then we can achieve up to additional 6%. Because the way it works is we move each tracker independently, not all of them at the same way, but we move each tracker independently in a way that they can adapt to the irregularities of the terrain. So everything put together, these two features together, we can achieve up to 8% additional gain comparing to a traditional backtracking system with bifacial modules that do not have this special feature and a special algorithm. Also, additionally, thinking on this body analogy, we have a very strong back. The back, this sturdy back, represent the support we get from our partners. We get support from all main well-known certification companies, all of them well recognized. I mean, you name it, you know them. UL, TUB, CE, Black & Veatch, all of them are supporting our work and working very much closely with us, also to test our system. We test every single new product. We make it through the wind tunnel, and we get the certification for all of them from, I mean, yeah, the best reference companies in the world. This is the way we look to give you a well-proven, a very valid and a very reliable system. Also helping us is DNVGL is also one of our main partners. They are with us today. They also help us with our bankability. The idea behind what we wanted to prove to bring you value to our customers is that not only the components by themselves, they are bankable, it's also about the whole system. Now we have the support of DNVGL, and we have proven that not only from the component perspective, but also on the system integration level and on the whole component and solution level, we can present to you a bankable solution. And about this, our colleagues from DNVGL will also mention something later on. So everything put together and having in mind this analogy of the body, what we want to present to you and to our projects at the end of the day is, as Mr. Ronfanjin mentioned before, is added value. I want to guide you through now quickly what these added values are. We can, let's say, collect them or gather them like in 4 different packages or different scenarios. The first one of these packages of this scenario is a higher power generation. As we mentioned before, thanks to our smart tracking concept, we can help you to maximize and to reach up to 8% extra power gain. This feature I want to mention works especially well. We have tested it and we have proved it, and we got very interesting results. And we have seen that it works especially well in those times where the irradiation is not so high. This will enable, we believe that this will help us to expand and to extend this imaginary tracking belt that we can imagine through the world. We know that, let's say, the main tracking region is the area close to the equator. But what we're doing with this new feature is to expand and to move to the north and to the south. This imaginary line where we can use trackers in a feasible and economically feasible way. Just to remind you quickly, remember that this special feature is based on 2 different, let's say, technologies or 2 different features, which is the bifacial algorithm and also the smart backtracking algorithm. From other package or from other perspective to the value is the better system availability and better system reliability. We already mentioned that before, and just to highlight once more, we go through, for every system, for every solution, we go through a very intense testing test, or let's say validation test, in a way that once the product hits the market, we are perfectly sure that it will work. I also want to mention here that what we present and what we put in the market is probably one of the widest, if not the widest, portfolio of product. This means that we don't present just one solution, but our solution consists of many different options. So we can present to you, for example, fixed system, we can present multi-row tracking system, we can present to you 1B or 2B tracking system in a way that by the end of the day, we will help you with your project to customize the solution to the best matching concept that will better fit to your project and to your needs. Also keeping in mind this idea of better system availability and reliability, we have worked together with our partner Huawei and Sungrow, also on the AC side, not only on the tracking system, on the module system, but also on the AC side to adapt their product and their portfolio to the new tendencies and the new requirements of the market. For example, up to, I mean, not far ago, not long ago, the limit of the IMPP intensity current that an inverter could handle was up to 26 ampere. But now we see with the new technologies that we need, especially for bifacial modules and for large modules like the 500, like the Vertex, we can reach more than this 26 ampere. So we help them, and together we develop a new concept in which for the new generation of inverters, we can reach up to 30 amperes to adapt to the new technologies and the new tendencies. That's on the string inverter side, and on the central inverter side, we can, I mean, we have developed fully integrated and fully compatible solutions to put in the market. Another package of value we want to present to you is what Mr. Ronfanjin presented before or introduced before. We have developed internally also our own SCADA system. And here you can see a snapshot of how it looks. And the idea behind of this new SCADA system that will be integrated on the Trina Pro solution is not only to present a monitoring platform when you can see the data, let's say, but it's also to interact and to go much more in detail into the analysis of this data. So we will go a higher level in the analysis and also in the in how we treat this data in a way that we can help you with the operation and maintenance. Here you can see some additional features that this platform will include, like, for example, performance analysis or remote operation and maintenance. We can generate automatically the AI report with the idea of, again, decreasing the operation and maintenance cost and decreasing the levelized cost of electricity. All this that I mentioned before, all this put together is an idea, but we don't want to present to you just an idea. We want to present to you a reality. And this is why we have introduced also here a real case study, a real proof of concept that we have in China. This is a 100 megawatt project, and comparing to a 110 megawatt system that is also installed close to this project, we have seen we have in fact we have decreased around 3% the BOS cost and around 2.5% the levelized cost of electricity. So with this, we want to mention and we want to show to you that this is really a reality. I mean, this we have a proof of concept, and we can really help you to achieve the best value for your project. Just last but not least, what I want to do is to present to you the different families and the different series of technology that we are presenting. as I mentioned before, we don't put in the market just one solution, one system, one product. We put in the market a solution, and this solution will be perfectly customized to the needs of your project and the needs of our customers. And depending on these needs, we will recommend or we will choose one or the other solution, going from B-row or single row or multi-row with string or cell train inverters, monofacial or bifacial product. So basically, we can present to you the best matching solution for your project. And with this, I conclude. This is from my side. Thank you very much. And Adele, back to you.
Thank you, Joaquin. So since the launch of Trina Pro, the solution has been benefiting our clients and their system around the world. Now, I would like to invite you to a virtual tour at a 250 megawatt Trina Pro Tongchuan project in China, which I visited last week.
Hi everyone, this is Adele, Product Marketing Manager of Trina Solar Europe. Today I would like to invite you to a exciting tour with me at the Trina Pro project site. Now we are at Trina Solar Tongchuan Top Runner project. It is located in Yunmeng District, Tongchuan City in Shanxi Province. The total capacity of this project is 250 megawatts, with 30 megawatt Trina Pro. The project is divided into two parts, Yushe and Nangu. Yushe has 110 megawatts, and Nangu has 140 megawatts. These two projects together take an area of 9.19 square kilometers, which is equivalent to 2,187 soccer fields. The total investment of this project is over 2 billion RMB. The annual power production is 316 billion kilowatt hour, and this power plant was reconnected last year. Now we will see the Trina Pro design of this project. As you can see here, we adopt Trina Solar high efficiency bifacial module. They are mounted into two layouts. On tracker from Enclave, which belongs to Trina Solar Group. The overall program here has four parts. It has leisure, agriculture, tourism, and PV power plants. To make agriculture work here, under the PV power plant, we increase the distance between the ground to the module to 2 meters, so the personnel can move smoothly under these PV modules. The field is not flat, but with slopes, as you can see. To make the installation easier, we optimize the design of the tracker to reduce the number of foundations. We also adopted bearing, which is global patent, as you can see there, which allows quite large tolerance during installation. This allows us to have reconnection on time and smooth installation before that. Also, because we use bifacial module, to allow the best performance of bifacial module, we try to avoid the back shading from the tracker. So as you can see here, the distance between the module and the two rows are quite large. This project is one of the first 3 approved top runner projects in China. Compared with traditional fixed structure systems, Trina Pro tracking system can perform 13% more. Under the same conditions, such as environment, irradiance, and etc. In summertime, Trina Pro systems even outperform 30% compared with other systems. In addition, The improved Trina Pro tracking algorithm and controller contribute another 1.8% to the annual performance. Thank you for visiting us today in Tongchuan Project. You are more than welcome to visit us in person in the near future. Bye.
So hope you enjoyed the short tour with me. The benefits of Trina Pro are not just proven by our clients, but also verified by the third-party technical advisor, making Trina Pro solution highly bankable. Now, let's welcome Dr. Ye Qilin, solar consultant from DNVGL, and Mr. Cesar Hidalgo, principal engineer of DNVGL. They would like to share their tracker bankability reports, key requirements in large projects with leveraged financing.
Hi, Adele. Thanks for your introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Qilin from DNVGL. Today, I will first briefly go through the methodology we use to evaluate Trina Pro and our main conclusions. Then my colleague Cesar will share more insights in tracker bankability. DNVGL has more than 20 years of experience in the solar industry, and with a global team of experts and experience in various aspects of the photovoltaic technologies, we have performed multiple detailed technical bankability assessments for PV products, including modules, inverter, trackers, and energy storage systems, providing investors the information and assessments they need to gain comfort with an unfamiliar product and make informed investment decisions. In this bankability report, in order to evaluate Trina Pro solution, DNVGL has reviewed the product from these 7 dimensions. So the core component of Trina Pro solution consists of module manufactured by Trina Solar, trackers manufactured by Enclave, which is part of the Trina Group, and inverters manufactured by qualified suppliers. These core components are integrated with a smart tracking algorithm and cloud-based operation and maintenance platform. The report evaluates the potential energy gain of the Trina Pro solution and its smart tracking algorithm based on independent energy simulations and a review of field testing results. It also evaluates each core components such as module, inverter, trackers, and smart controllers. We review the product datasheet, engineering drawings, structure analysis, test report, installation procedures, quality plan, O&M documents, performance analysis, and other third-party test reports provided by Trina Solar. DNVGL has also visited the module and tracker manufacturing facilities in China and Spain to evaluate manufacture and quality control processes. So our main conclusion and suggestions are summarized in the following points. DNVGL considers Trina Pro. It integrates existing high-tier modules, inverters, and trackers products in the industry. The main advantage of such a turnkey solution is it allows for integrated project management, installation, components, and monitoring, as well as budget control. And the smart tracking provides amount of energy gain, as is already mentioned before. The tracker is tied with a smart tracking algorithm, which adjusts the tracking angles from standard astronomical tracking to a flatter position during diffuse light conditions. This algorithm also accounted for the bifacial modules and site-specific conditions, such as albedos, layout, etc. DNVGL reviewed operational test results of Trina Pro system from a site in Spain, which I believe is still ongoing in the test bed. Based on this information we received, on cloudy days, the energy gain can be up to 1.9%. Longer duration test period are needed to draw conclusions for annual games. DNVGL recommend at least 1 year of data to capture seasonality of the system performance and several years of data to capture year-to-year variabilities. And we do recommend multiple sites to characterize location difference of TrainerPro algorithm as well. Let's see for me. Next, let me introduce our principal engineer, Cesar, to share DNVGL's insights in checker bankability.
Thank you very much, Shalin. Thank you all the Trina team for this opportunity to talk about trackers. So my presentation is going to be specifically about trackers and bankability of trackers. So basically, when we are talking about bankability, what is bankability? What is bankable? And I have this quote here. Bankability means that the bank is convinced to the greatest possible extent that the cash flows are stable and the loan will be repaid. So basically we are looking for good quality trackers. So what are the aspects that typically we analyze in our bankability reviews? So basically we consider that the bankable tracker is a good quality tracker. So that means that there are some aspects like certification. We have to consider all the certificates applicable to the tracker. The raw materials, we have to analyze all the raw materials applied to the trackers. We also check the suitability of the design for the site conditions. And this is something important that I will explain a little bit later. So it's important to have the correct design for the correct sites, for the suitable site. Then we check also operation and maintenance. That's an important point because you are going to operate the PV plant probably for 25 years, and its ability for this operation and maintenance is also something important to consider. And also the lifetime expectation. So what is the lifetime expectation of your tracker? And if we evaluate all these points together, we can go to the conclusion that your tracker is bankable. But then you are going to install probably in your PV plants thousands of trackers. So how can you be sure that all the trackers are going to have the good quality that you have analyzed? So for that, you need also to check the manufacturing quality control. So you need to look at the quality instructions during the manufacturing, the traceability of the components, the health and safety regulations, the logistics, and the after sales department. So all the elements in order to make sure that you have not only one tracker good, but all of them will be good, And another point that we review is the warranty terms. So you may have a very good quality tracker, but the warranty is only 2 years. Wow, 2 years probably is below the market standard. So then your tracker is not so good. So that is why we need to check what are the warranty terms, what are especially the exclusions that I will explain a little bit later. And finally, you may have all these points good in the checklist, but your tracker is new in the market. You don't have any track record. You don't have any operating history. So that's a problem as well, because we were saying before that a bankable product is something that is going to warranty stable cash flows. So for stable cash flows, you need to have a precedent. You need to have a history behind you. So that's another point that we review at DNVGL about track record and operating history of the product. If it is based in a previous project, in a previous model, or it is based in a new research and development product without no real experience. So all these things are going to be considered. So regarding a structural calculation, I was saying before that the design of the tracker should be suitable for your site, okay? And then the structural calculation, there is no standard, there is no specific standard for the structural calculation for trackers. You have to use the building codes, the existing building codes. And the compliance with these codes is not a guarantee of lifetime, because these building codes are not specifically produced for trackers. So and I would like to show you one thing in order to think about it. You know, the building codes, they say that the limit between a flexible and a non-flexible structure is 1 Hz, as the natural frequency, 1 Hz. However, here on the left, you can see one real tracker, you know, that we measure the natural frequency in the range from 3 to 5 Hz. And you can see a problem, instability that we see here is what we call it galloping. So that is an important sign that you need to consider aeroelastic effects in trackers, and the building codes saying 1S are not adequate for your tracker projects. So you need to analyze very careful this effect. And here on the right side, you can see a wind tunnel, a dynamic wind tunnel where this effect is being studied. So you need to study this phenomenon, because this is something real affecting your trackers. And I'm not talking at very high wind speeds. I'm talking at medium level wind speed, 11, 12 meters per second. So I'm not talking about 30 meters per second or something like that. So it's much less than the maximum wind speed for design, you know. So basically, what is expected in the industry when you are analyzing the aeroelastic effects of the trackers? So I mentioned here 5 points: the buffeting, the vortex in the induced vibration, the aeroelastic deflation, the flattering, the galloping that I was mentioning before, and the torsional divergence. Sorry, because they are very technical concepts, but I'm sure if you write these concepts in Google, you will get a lot of videos and information about these problems. Unfortunately, this effect can produce catastrophic failures. And here in Spain, I'm based in Barcelona, in Spain, and we have lived with some problems in November, December, January, and March, where there are many PV plants affected by this phenomenon, and different manufacturers. So that's something that is really important to analyze, okay? So if it happens that you have this phenomenon in your PV plant, it's important that you look at 2 things. First of all is the warranty exclusions. It's very highly recommended that the manufacturer of the tracker is involved during the installation and also the commissioning of the plant, in order to eliminate any warranty exclusion here. So that's one recommendation that I can give to you. And the second is about the solution that the manufacturer probably will provide you in order to solve the problem. It's also important that this solution is analyzed for the aeroelastic effects. So if you don't get this aeroelastic design study for the solution, you may have a solution for a short term, for 1 year, 2 years, until the next storm is coming to your place, you know. So that's important that in the solution, you also consider the aeroelastic effects. And then my last slide is about what is the magnitude of these aeroelastic effects. So for showing you just a number about the dynamic loads, the aeroelastic effects, compared to the static loads, that is the typical study that you undertake considering a rigid structure, for example. Here we have, on the right side, we have a measurement of natural frequency and damping ratio that ENVGL typically undertakes on site. Here, for the mode of vibration number 1, we have a damping ratio of 5.11%, okay? If we get 5.11% damping ratio, we put it in the dynamic wind loads on the left side for the 5.11% damping ratio, you can get a peak load up to 2.5 times the static loads. So that means that if your tracker can resist 100 in static loads, for dynamic loads, you will need 250. So that's the magnitude of this problem. That is why it's so important that the aeroelastic effects are well studied, well considered, and you don't have any gap in the analysis, okay? And this is all from my side. I pass the mic to Adele. Thank you very much, Adele.
Thank you, Qilin and Cesar. The launch of 210 series Vertex by Trina Solar accelerates industry development. 210 series and ultra-high power modules are becoming the new industry standard. Now let's explore the industrial development and supply chain readiness of ultra-high power module with PV InfoLink. PV InfoLink is one of the leading solar PV consulting firms providing marketing intelligence, data analysts, and insights to their global clients such as Tier 1 solar PV manufacturers, EPC, and financing institutions. Mr. Cooper Chen, Senior Analyst from PV InfoLink, will present us now supply chain gears up for production. 210-based high power modules bring lower LCOE.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cooper Chen, who is a senior analyst specializing in silicon wafers for solar cells and at PV InfoLink, and provide market trends, analyst, and price forecast for polysilicon and wafer. Today, I will talk about supply chain gears up for potassium 210 millimeters based higher power modules bring lower LCOE. Since the beginning of March, overseas market has been suffering from the COVID-19 pandemic, and the governments across the globe have been busy preventing the virus from spread. We foresee that 2020 is a tough year for overseas markets. Having said that, markets around the world are now recovering with shipment balance to Uniper higher than predicted. This suggests that the impact on European markets might be smaller than expected. With the pandemic easing up gradually, PV InfoLink revised up global module demand to 112.5 gigawatts and lowered the predicted market share of overseas market from 69% to 65%. We see more and more cell and module makers engage in 210 millimeters format because large wafers can help reduce the LCOE and increase module power output. The major competitiveness of 210 millimeters wafers is cost advantage and the higher yield rate achieved by Industry 4.0 manufacturing. We have learned the furnaces installed before the second half of 2019 were mostly for N2, G1, or other small size. If manufacturers want to engage in 210 millimeter, they will need to install new furnace. Therefore, those that are willing to invest in 210 millimeters will install lines that are compatible with 166 millimeters. If manufacturers install lines for 166 first and want to produce 210 millimeter later, they will need to modify lines. Therefore, it's also an option for many manufacturers to jump for 166 millimeter to 210 millimeters. While solar costs continue to drop, there is still room for global end user demand. It seems the wafer cell and even modules capacity are enough to fill in demand for 210 millimeters format. I will talk about capacity in detail later. Since the second half of 2019, monosilicon wafer manufacturers have been expanding capacity. Furnaces of model 150 plus coupling with 32-inch thermal field is a good combination for academic 166 millimeter and 210 millimeter larger wafers. We have learned that Longi's new capacity use such combinations, and so it can accommodate size up to 210 millimeter. We estimate that there will be at least 5,000 furnaces that can produce 210 wafers this year. The transaction into capacity that will be around 55 gigawatts, and this is enough to fill in demand for 210 wafers. At present, cell makers are capable of accommodating 166 millimeters with wafers larger than 166 millimeter being introduced recently. It's certainly that cell makers' new capacity installed this year will need to accommodate larger size. Tongwei and Echo both can produce wafers range from 166 millimeters and beyond. However, use capacity that can produce 210 millimeters to produce 166 millimeter would be a waste for per unit production. So cell makers are actually not willing to do that, especially now. They are very careful with cost. Therefore, cell makers have more doubt over capacity expansion this year. Cell makers are still uncertain about size selection this year, but they all ask equipment suppliers to enable machines to produce smaller or larger wafers. The difficult is now how equipment suppliers can adjust sales lines to adopt different size format with losing capacities. Overall, cell makers need to meet size requirements by module makers, and so there is not capacity bottleneck for cell capacity. These tables present the size cell makers can produce. It doesn't include vertically integrated companies because they basically promote any size they want this year. We can see from the tables that Tongwei and Echo engaged in 210 millimeter, while other cell makers have ability to produce 166 millimeter size cells. However, cell makers that plan to expand capacity are not sure about whether they should format beyond 166 millimeters. We project that cell makers will materialize their capacity expansion plans until they decide the size they want to adopt. Most cell makers did not expand capacity in Q2, while some have postponed capacity ramps due to COVID-19. So cell makers are now waiting for the market outlook to turn better and the size selection becomes clear. In fact, it's up to module makers to decide whether they should adopt 166 millimeter or larger formats, because without module makers, wafer makers are unable to promote the size on their own. This year saw module power output moving toward 500 watt compared to last year's 400 watt. It's a 100 watt jump in 1 year, meaning that technology and the products are shifting at a pace beyond imagination. To the market, 500 watt modules is extremely high power output and they can earn higher profit as well. The table shows the Trina and Reason both unveil 500 watt modules based on 210 millimeters wafers. The four new products vary in size. Other than that, there is not much difference, but only slight variance in price flows. Most modules makers will produce modules based on G1 wafers this year, and the power output ranges from 395 to 410 watt, which can be achieved by assembling with half-car cells or half-car plus MBB cells. The module's power output will be 425 to 440 watt if they used 166 millimeter wafers, meaning that the power output can be increased by 20 to 30 watt by switching from G1 to M6. The module technology remains unchanged regardless G1 or M6 size. Most of them use half-car or half-car plus MBB. Therefore, change to slightly bigger wafer will increase power output by around 30 watt. Larger wafers also drive down costs. So, modules makers also actively promote products based on larger wafers. From the slide, we can see that more than 90% of modules capacity are half-car plus MBB, so the technology roadmap is quite certain. The cost expansion modules capacity is lower than the cell one, and it's easier for the module segment to adjust different size. Therefore, most modules manufacturers will adopt 210 millimeters for their capacity expansion. Module capacity ramps have not slowed down by coronavirus outbreak at all, because it incurs reactively lower costs for them to expand capacity. Moreover, they will be able to compete with their rivals on modules power output if they don't expand capacity this year. So they have been busy expanding new capacity and then gradually eliminate older capacity later. Under the impact of COVID-19, we can see that module makers are most certain about their capacity ramps. This year is expected to see more than 50 gigawatts of new modules capacity additional. If including the new capacity, that will accommodate with 210 millimeter straight away. There will be more than 25 gigawatts of capacity that can produce 210 millimeter based modules by the end of the year. So for M2 and G1, quite many manufacturers have been switching from M2 to G1, and so G1 will remain the mainstream size this year. But it's worth noting that M6 is also rising. Manufacturers that have switched to G1 size since the second half next year are not likely to invest more to adopt larger wafers in the short term. For M6, most of new lines that have been installed since the second half of last year can accommodate 106 to 170 millimeter format. Therefore, the share of M6 increased to 14% this year. The trading balance of modules based on 166 wafers also increased since April. Some manufacturers are also modifying lines now to switching from G1 to M6. The trend is expected to increase the share of 166 millimeter to 40 next year, making it mainstream after G1. Okay, adopting 210 millimeter for new capacity means that size selection is certain for the next 5 to 10 years. In the face of enlarging wafers, manufacturers across the supply chain are gearing up to 210 millimeters to prepare for the trade of larger wafers. Cell makers ramp capacity are not sure about size format bigger than 166 millimeters because they are concerned about adaptability and modifications issues of machines. It requires change to adopt 210 millimeters for the wire supply chain and the end users, meaning that it will take a while for demand to manifest. It's expected that this year we'll see around 2 gigawatts of shipment balance. To conclude, ultra-high power modules have become a trend, and the solutions to ultra-high power performance will lead the path in the industry. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Cooper, for your presentation. Now we have seen the amazing new feature of Trina Pro Mega, maximizing the output of ultra-high power PV modules and lowering LCOE, as well as PV module development and industry. Hope you enjoy the event. You can now download Trina Pro Mega documents and the video of this event by scanning the barcode on the screen. Our regional representatives look forward to getting in touch with you very soon. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.